Look at this motley crew. First off, let's give a round of applause to Papa Tones over
Hey,
here.
yeah. Hey, man, that's awesome, dude.
I didn't do shit.
Congratulations. That's true. That's true. We should.
Paisan, the little Paisan.
Mrs. Tones should be getting the round of applause for sure. Undoubtedly. Congratulations to you and the fam, my dude.
Tones looks like he's aged like 5 years old.
Do I? I was wondering. Like, I don't feel that tired, but I'm sure I look.
It'll catch
Those
up.
eye bags are getting heavy.
Yeah,
oh,
dark shirt. You look like a
Cheers to
raccoon.
my bucket of coffee.
So how's sleeping been?
Sleeping's been okay, actually. Yeah,
It's like
there's
this,
obviously-
dude.
Yeah, like peaks and valleys, and like some nights are better than others, but it's definitely a lot harder on the moms. And you're just there like supporting, right? You're just like trying to like change them and
diapers.
stuff, but the moms are like up every 2 hours and stuff. But
Here's my thing. Here's the one thing that I've learned from being a dad is that Tones, it'll happen to you as soon as you think you've got to figure it out. Like, oh, okay, we got this.
yeah.
It's wild swings. You will realize as soon as you think you know, you'll know that you don't know shit.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what I've come to realize as a parent.
I like that. That's good advice. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Honestly, like, so I don't know if you guys know the story. Like, he came 4 weeks early, and literally the day before we moved into our new house. So, like, that 48 to 72 hours was, I swear to God, like, I don't know how we're surviving right now, because like our stress levels were exceeded anything the human should be fucking like. We left the hospital. We had no clue if any of our baby stuff was out of a box. We had no idea. So we're like, cool. Now we have to take care of this thing that like we're kind of not totally prepared for. And hopefully he has a place to sleep tonight, because that's a problem if not. But thankfully we had, my parents just happened to be coming down at that time.
That's sick. Yeah.
Amazing.
Just for a visit. So that worked out. And then, yeah, everyone rallied and we got there. I mean, listen, I'm in my basement now. Like there's 19 empty boxes. I got hoodies over here. Shit's all over the map. I've kind of just been trying to get our place together. That's been the most stressful part, to be honest. But yeah, man, it's crazy. It's so much fun though, man. It's so crazy. It's little Italian baby with really black hair. He's the cutest thing in the world. I friggin' love him.
That's awesome, bro.
That is amazing, cool. Man. Congrats. And it's like just an incredible, like hearing that story, seeing the smile on your face, like you're actually like glowing right now, which is amazing to like see.
It's the lighting.
I don't know. Is it though? I don't know. I still see it. You're turning down the lights. I still see the rays there.
Like
Oppenheimer. Ooh, Oppenheimer. I did see Oppenheimer.
I
did see it.
Sean Avery's greatest role.
Sean Avery.
I thought it was really, really good. I was
sick.
Like,
it's awesome.
I thought that the way that people talk about certain things and the way that the internet rolls now, where it becomes a trendy, cool thing to be like, this was the best movie ever.
Or the worst movie ever.
Exactly. People got to always take these wild swings. But for this movie, I was so impressed with how they were able to take a movie that is just dialogue. Do you know what I mean? Yep. And like, just make the speed of it. Like that was 3 hours long, but that first like 2 hours flies by because the way that it's cut together, the pacing, the music, the shots, the smash cuts to like random, just like explosions or whatever, the way that they cut the dialogue, the story moved so well that didn't seem like I was watching a 3 hour movie for the first 2 acts, we'll say. Do you know what I mean? Just such an incredible job. Great acting performances.
So
just
good.
Incredible storytelling. It was just such a well done movie.
Downey, man.
So
Downey. The more I've like, it's been like 2 weeks, 3 weeks since I've seen it now. And I just keep coming back to how good Downey was, man.
Same.
Such like, because we, like the generate, like Tones is a little younger than Shelly, you and I are. So I'm sure that Robert Downey Jr. for you is Iron Man.
Yeah, big time.
Right? So like to see an actor like that who's been this character for so long, then do this that had so much nuance a little bit to it of the journey that you went on with that character. Like, man, I thought it was great. I thought it was a great movie.
There were so many people that like one of my the people's biggest critiques to me, and this is to Sheldon's point, like people are like, oh, it's basically two movies smashed into one. Like like after the big climax of the big the Trinity test, it kind of tails off, and I was like, what? I'm like, what are you watching? Like that last hour was like the RDJ show, and it was amazing. Like I thought that was way more interesting than actually all the stuff leading up to it. Like I don't know, man. I thought it was a great movie. I loved it. I can't wait to watch it again.
In a time, right? Like one of my other favorite movies this year was Spider-Man. But the problem I had with Spider-Man is like I didn't know that it was breaking into two parts. So I was like, I want more of this. And Oppenheimer, so I heard somebody say, oh, it could have been two movies. And in this day of breaking everything up, no, I don't care that it's 3 hours. I want the complete story of this guy's life, you know? And I thought that Nolan did a really good job. I'm sure he could have made a 5-hour movie that was just as compelling, right?
Also, like, how do you market that second movie? Like, hey, you just saw The Big Bang, which most people are paying the money to go see.
About communism.
Hey, come on over and see House of Cards 2.0 with RDJ. Like, I don't know. Like, let's relax. Like, I don't think that's a big sell. That's a weird one.
I don't know. It was just such a great job. Then once you dig deeper into like Nolan's whole mentality and what people are saying that he was trying to make a talking point on what like so much of the creative industry is like right now in terms of, you know, you have like the fight that you guys put me on game about before I saw the movie. About how this is big. He's trying to bring the movies back. And, you know, I'm so glad I did go to watch that in the theaters because it was such a completely different experience. And I remember very early on being like, I'm so glad I watched this in theaters instead of waiting for it to come on whatever streaming service it's going to come on, just because that experience, no matter what setup you think you have at your house, like, that was incredible. The sound quality, and I'm going to sound like a freaking nerd here.
No, it was,
but like the sound quality in that film was incredible, right? Like I was sitting there in my seat and I pulled the Webby. I went by myself on like a Tuesday night randomly. I was just like, because the funny thing was I was on my way home and I was like, I'm kind of tired. Like, I was like, no, I'm like up still. And it was like 9:30 or something like that. And I was literally walking on Queen Street past the movie theater. And I was like, wait a second. Hold on. Let me see what's going on here. And started and watched it. And it was like, this is incredible. It was so good.
Christopher Nolan right now is just taking a large pull on a blunt and nodding.
Yeah.
Like that's what he wants, you know? Off the street, come and see my movie, but see it in a theater.
It was so good. Like the audio, I can't stress that enough. Just the pacing of it. Like if you, how could the level of difficulty to pull that off? That's just dialogue about them talking about like math equations and like, do you know what I mean? To pull that off for like 2 hours and keep you riveted and keep you in your seat and educate you as well on like this incredible human being and one of the biggest moments in the history of the world, right? It was so good. So good.
A movie that's 95% talking about a bomb and 5% the bomb going off had me like this in my seat, grabbing onto the armrest.
And then the counter of what they did when the bomb actually goes off and then it goes quiet.
Yeah.
Like that hit so hard. Like that.
I know.
I was like,
yeah. Man.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
And like, I just, Dunkirk gave me the same kind of feeling. It gave me that vibe where it's like, I love Dunkirk. I came out of the theater and I saw it with a couple buddies. I was like, that might be one of the best movies I've ever seen. They're like, what are you talking about? That was confusing. I'm like, there was 12 like lines of dialogue in that whole movie. And yet, you were just gripping the edge of your seat, just wondering what the hell is going to happen here. It was amazing. And like, that's his superpower, Chris Nolan, man. He did like, he can take those great moments and like, I don't even know how to explain this, but basically like he doesn't have to, he's not a show. He's no, what am I trying to say here? He's not like a show. He shows and doesn't tells, right? Does that make sense? Like he shows you with the, like, he's like, the sound's going to be the driver here. Hey, the bomb's going to go off. You're going to hear nothing. Why? Because the sound is delayed if a fucking nuke goes off and you're going to hear this from his perspective. And all you hear is his breathing. Like, it's just like, no, I don't think a lot of filmmakers would have done that. I really don't. I think it would have been this big with all this music going, and I don't know. I just thought that was so impressive.
Well, it's funny, right? Like his whole career, really, the reason that he gets to make these movies like Dunkirk, like Oppenheimer, is because of the success of sequels of superhero movies, right? So he kind of almost built this system that we're finding ourselves in with, all these Marvel movies, all these DC movies that are kind of draining the system. They kind of all come from Nolan, and now he's fighting back against that kind of push with making these grand epics that have nothing to do with intellectual property, that are actual historical events, right? So it's a big pushback, and it's also a big theme of what I thought Oppenheimer was about, like pushing back against that system. It just had so much subtext, and it was so beautifully done, and Cillian Murphy was incredible. Like he's going to win Best Actor, I imagine. Like it was just a great time at the movies.
There were so many great performances up and down throughout that movie too. Like that's the part that
the only
got
thing
me the most.
Is the female characters a little one-dimensional. But that was my thing, is like that was kind of the time, like in the 50s. I'm sure that his wife, they tried to show a little bit of complexity with her character, but I'm sure that the biographies and things that Nolan was taking for this story didn't really get into how his wife was feeling, because that wasn't the way people were thinking back then.
It's so true too, because like it took after being like, oh yeah, his wife was like a super smart like scientist as well, and like that part's not even really like we're not really
it's
talking
like
about that. Yeah, it's like one line throwaway where she's like, oh, I gave up my career to do this, and like that's kind of it. They didn't really like deep dive into that, but I still think Emily Blunt was so good in it. Florence Pugh she's so good. She's so good in that, despite the obvious, where like, what was I listening to where they were discussing when she basically explains that she was his psychologist, essentially. She's trying to tell him, like, she explains everything, but no dude was actually paying attention to what she was saying because, she was on top of him and doing the do. But just such a great performance all the way around. I did find what's your boy Rami Malek? I found that a little awkward.
Well, like you knew something was going to happen. You knew something was going to happen with him because he kept showing up, and it'd be like, "Hey, it's Mr. Robot."
Like, and it's like he can't just be in this movie in this like little tiny role. Yeah, you knew
he's
he was
coming back in some way.
Yeah. No, but I just thought it was a great movie all in all, and so many great performances. Matt Damon, I thought was really good.
Yeah,
and Matt Damon,
you're in good hands with Matt Damon. That's
for sure. Even though he's one of those guys, when you see him, you're like, Matt Damon, regardless of who he's playing. He still did such a good job.
My guy in the movie, like Dion Waiters, coming in less than 5 minutes of screen time, knocking down 4 3-pointers. Casey Affleck.
Yes, dude.
He was so good. And I love him in every movie, man. He is so good. And he comes into this movie and is just like the scariest motherfucker in this movie.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
Such a well done movie. So good. And I know we kind of held off for a couple of weeks to talk about it, but I'm glad we were able to fit that in finally. And I kind of want to go from one or a couple great acting performances to another really good acting performance in terms of James Harden, who is pretending to be a basketball player that cares about winning championships. And
I mean,
what is happening here? That was one of the most random things to wake up to, as your man's James Harden. He's in China, which is a huge part of this as well. If we remember the beef with Daryl Morey, and him tweeting out what was going on.
Yes, I saw this today.
And this video,
this is good.
My man's,
this is what you want.
He's on his promo tour. He's doing a lot. He's doing a lot.
He's doing a lot, man. I'll tell you.
We don't need to play the actual video of what he said, but essentially, he's done with your man's Daryl Morey. I don't even got to say much here. I feel like all I need to do at this point is just toss it over to our guy, Webby, because I feel like your squad, man.
It's over.
Y'all are down
The
bad.
the
Man.
results are in. The results are in, and it's over, man.
Put me through your reaction of when you first saw Harden.
No. Well, it was not surprise. It was not surprise. This thing has been going on. It's been going on for months now, and it was going to come to a head in some way, and not in a good way. You know, there were no real outs for Harden once he found that he had no way to get himself to the Clippers. There are no outs. He's not going to play for the Sixers.
I'm assuming everyone listening knows what we're talking about. James Harden called Daryl Morey a liar, not once, but twice. And then said, I will never be a part of an organization that he is a part of. Close quote. This followed up by your man's Joel Embiid removing Philadelphia 76ers out of his Twitter bio, Twitter handle.
Location. Philadelphia out of the location. So
I'm not going to lie to you. As a Raptors fan, I will always enjoy the demise of anything Joel Embiid and the Sixers. But add in the Nick Nurse angle to this, and this is an insane.
Nick Nurse is going to be coaching R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle.
You think Embiid's going to get Morey is going to trade Embiid and James Harden?
Again, what do you want to go through this again in a couple of years and have this guy leave for nothing?
If I was a Sixers owner, do you know what I would honestly do? I would fire Morey.
Sell the team?
Well, sure. But barring that, I would just fire Daryl Morey and bring someone else in, let Harden or Embiid, probably Embiid, because Harden is Harden. Like, I understand if I'm the owner, I don't want to pay James Harden max money. So I understand, like, cool, Morey went against his word, and I understand that he's a liar. Guess what? Rich dudes lie all the time. Like, that's how Daryl Morey got to where he is. Ask Chris Paul, right? Ask the Clippers and Steve Ballmer. No, sorry, where was he before? The Houston Rockets, pardon me. Ask Tillman Fertitta about Daryl Morey lying because he lied to him to get the job in Philly. He lied to Chris Paul when he was in the Houston Rockets as well. So him lying to James Harden isn't that big of a deal to me, because also James Harden is a liar. Hello. James Harden has lied to the Rockets. He's lied to the Nets. Now he's lying to the Sixers. He lied to Chris Paul. He lied to Russell Westbrook. He lied to Kevin Durant. He lied to Kyrie Irving, which is a whole other story for another day. And now he's lying to Joel Embiid and the Sixers as well. Like, James Harden is a liar. So these guys have made their own bed, and now it's all blowing up. And as a Raptors fan, can't lie to you, I'm loving this all.
You love to see it. You love to see it. And not only that, but PJ Tucker is backing James Harden as well, by the way.
Of course he is, because James Harden took less money last year so that they could give PJ Tucker the bag. Of course PJ Tucker is going to be on board with James Harden, when really PJ Tucker's money is James Harden's money.
I'll tell you, get ready, RJ Barrett in a Sixers jersey.
You cannot trade Joel Embiid if you are the Sixers.
They're gonna trade him.
You got to fire Morey. Morey's credibility is now shot.
It's like the climate crisis, Shelly. The toothpaste is out of the tube. What do you want us to do? Like, the damage has already been done. The house is burned down. So
you would keep Morey and allow him to trade these guys?
No, but firing Morey is not going to make Joel Embiid stay in Philadelphia, man.
I'm going to let him handpick whoever he wants to come in and be the coach and GM or whatever.
I mean, I don't know. Who are you going to get?
Is that the Oppenheimer bomb?
Yeah.
Who out there is Joel Embiid going to pick and be like, this guy's good enough to be a GM that I'm going to stay here in Philadelphia for the rest of my career? One person. Name a GM.
I don't know.
If he can, Bob Myers? Do you think if he can get the
well, he just signed to ESPN.
Even a GM is not going to fix what Embiid thinks is wrong with this team, and is probably right about what's wrong with this team.
Well, the big thing that's wrong with this team is Joel Embiid.
It's from the top, man. It's the whole organization right now, from the ownership down to the guy who sweeps up at night.
It's terrible. It's terrible, but I'm enjoying it all.
The process is over.
Yeah,
but we're on to the Pats week 1, baby. Let's go.
Maybe you can trade
430.
James
Let's
Harden
go.
for. Maybe you could trade James Harden for Ben Simmons.
You look at what their lineup would have looked like if they didn't make some of these moves. And listen, say what you want about Ben Simmons, but like, look at the team now. Okay, look at what this team looks like compared to what the team looked like in the series against the Raptors that Kawhi
Listen,
won with
man.
the quadruple bounce. Look
Ben
at that.
Simmons, Doc Rivers, Daryl Morey, James Harden. They're all liars, right?
Yeah.
They're all phonies. They're all liars. And this all blowing up is just great to watch. And poor Nick Nurse. I'd love to get like truth serum from Nick Nurse, who reportedly had all these jobs just at his fingertips, right? Could have went to the Suns.
Come to the time bomb.
Could have went to the Suns, could have went to the Bucks, and you chose Joel Embiid, James Harden, and the Sixers? How? Like, talk about an ultimate bag fumbling of all bag fumbling. You could have even chose the Rockets, which would have, well, no, they chose Ime, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there were so many better situations, and now you're ending
there's
up
about 29 better situations in the NBA than the Sixers.
Oof. So what's next? By training camp, who is still with the Sixers organization?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yo,
I would say,
do you know how I know Webby shook? Webby's like whispering into the microphone.
I would say
Webby's decibel level.
I'm down bad. I'm down bad right now.
Normal. This
is down bad. I would say the most likely person to still be on the Philadelphia 76ers when training camp starts, is Embiid.
Okay.
Embiid and Nurse.
Okay.
That's
it's going to be such a great season.
Terrence Mann. They didn't want to throw in Terrence Mann. What about Siakam? Let's do the Siakam deal.
No, you don't want that.
Stop trying to give the Raptors
Harden to
James
Siakam.
Harden, okay?
That's the only.
Stop this. I'm stopping this narrative. You keep trying to push this narrative, and I'm stopping.
It's the only thread I can hang on to is that James Harden will come to Toronto.
So as we talk about,
big Chinatown in Toronto.
James Harden
he could get himself up on a billboard there at Spadina and Dundas, 100%.
An Adidas billboard.
Yeah.
So as we talk about, we look forward to the NBA season. The baseball season is kind of winding down, and the Blue Jays, are they going to blow this?
Be careful where you're going with the. Where you were going with baseball. I didn't know where we were heading there.
No, I'm not going to talk about I was going to call him your boy, but
my boy.
No. I was going to say it facetiously, but I'm not going to mention his name.
Multi-year keeper in one of my fantasy leagues.
Hold on. I'm not going there, but I realized the flaw in my error of facetiously calling everyone who's not your boy your boy. But the implications that would be making
not my boy
in this scenario.
Not my boy.
Not any of our boys. In fact, not even going to mention his name. We're going to talk about the Blue Jays and the wild card Jays.
Wait, who are you guys talking about?
Yo, stop this. Yo, what are you going to do right now?
What are you guys talking about?
Just Google the Rays, bro.
Oh,
yeah.
Yo, come on, man. What are you trying to do? Yeah, what are you trying to do?
Not a great look. Suffice to say, not a great look.
Not at all. The Jays also not a great look.
Not a great look.
As they try to get us back on track here. The Jays, tough series against the Cubs. But bottom line is, they are dwindling their lead here that they have on the final wild card spot. And I got to be honest, I wasn't worried about them not making the playoffs. I felt like they were comfortable in their playoff spot, and the teams chasing them weren't really that good. They might not be able to string together the wins to catch the Jays, but things are getting kind of heated. Alek Manoah is sent back down to the minors, which was something we talked about a few weeks ago on this pod. Ryu is back, but they still can't hit. I got to ask you guys, are they going to blow this? Are you worried about them blowing this?
Nah, I'm not.
Are you really that afraid of Seattle?
Yeah, no.
Even the Red Sox you might be afraid of, but I don't think that they have the arms. I don't think they have the pitching. I think the Blue Jays pitching is even what it is probably better than the Red Sox.
Okay.
Yeah. But
listen,
the boys are in town this weekend. You guys are lucky. Anybody going to the games?
No. I don't care to see this.
The boppers are in town, boys. The good guys. The fightins.
Come on, bro. Nobody
They're-
cares about the Phillies.
They got a nice little lead in their wild card. I don't think that they got the magic like they had last year, but you should go down and see Bryce Harper hit a baseball. Trey Turner's
What is
turned
this,
it around.
2008? No.
Trey Turner's turned it around. They're giving him standing ovations. In
Listen,
Philly.
I was trying to do a temperature check on the Jays and their
no
playoff
panic.
race, not
No
turning
panic
this
on the
into the
Jays.
Philadelphia. We already we gave the quota of Philadelphia sports talk cannot go past Joel Embiid and the Sixers right now. I'm just saying that's your punishment, man, for what's going on right now with your squad and James Harden. There's no time to talk about Philadelphia sports if it's not involving the Sixers
Wheeler
right now.
than Nola. I mean, we got the
No.
big arms out there on
Come
the bump for the next couple of days.
So hold on. Temperature check there on the Jays and what's going on. I want to do a temperature check on our guy Tones here because NFL preseason has started. And I know you get too fired up about NFL preseason.
What a win by the Saints, by the way.
Oh,
What an epic win. I watched
Listen.
all the way to the end, and what a way to win it.
okay. I got to watch the game, sitting there holding the little man. It's great. Introduced him to some Saints football. I'm not one to overreact on preseason, but the Saints are cleaning a house in the NFC South. We're going to be the 2 seed. It's going to be amazing. Derek Carr is going to have a career year. This is beautiful. It was beautiful. No, I'm joshing your chain a little bit, but no, they look good, man. I was excited. I was happy.
Jameis looked
Did
good.
you see that Jameis dime? I thought of you right away, Webby.
Come on. Did I see the Jameis dime, he asks.
What a throw. What a goofy ass player. Oh, I love him.
Love him.
Love him.
Better than Derek Carr, in my opinion.
I love training camp. I love preseason. I love the overreactions. Like the Justin Fields stuff from the weekend was hilarious. Like the absolute polar opposite takes on 2 plays, both of which were thrown behind the line of scrimmage, one of which was like just a genuinely bad throw where the guy had to like run backwards to catch it because the DJ Moore one and then go forward. Some people were like, wow, Justin Fields going to make a leap. Look out for the Bears. Other people were like, this guy sucks. Like, this is everything I love about preseason and training camp.
Good.
We just overreact off like 8 snaps. It's just great. I just love it.
I'm not even overreacting to snaps. I'm overreacting to tweets. I just saw one that Josh Sweat sacked Deshaun Watson at a joint Browns-Eagles practice, and I gave a little fist pump. Like, if we can get some secondary pressure on the quarterback, we're going to be in for a good season.
Your boy Jalen Carter. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, we really let Jalen Carter fall to the Eagles." I'm like, he bodied like a backup guard.
He had one snap. He had one snap, and he got in the quarterback's kitchen. Canton.
Super Bowl
greatest draft pick
53 deep of Pro Bowlers. It's amazing. Yeah, I love it. I love
greatest
it so
draft pick of all time.
It's so
Jalen
funny.
Carter at 9. Was it 9?
No, wasn't
any
it
more
later?
any more NFL overreactions to the crappy preseason, which is the biggest waste of time possible?
Quarterback wise, who's the best quarterback that you've seen? Take Jameis out of it. Who's the best
Jordan
quarterback
Love.
you've seen?
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love was balling.
I'm kind of I'm buying stock on Jordan Love.
I'll tell you
Good
who I
boy.
like.
Shell, your boy Trey Lance is dunzo, son, bro.
Cook.
Hold on.
He's out of the
I've
league.
told you guys this
Future
from last
BC
year.
Lion. Future BC Lion.
From
Trey
last
Lance.
year, I told you guys Trey Lance was done. I
What
told
about
you
the
guys that from last
CFL
year.
guy?
Nathan
That was a
Rourke.
crazy play.
Yeah.
He's balling. He's
How about
balling.
that?
He's
One
balling.
unreal.
Shouts to Justin Dunk.
It's just a Justin Dunk for sure.
100%.
The one that I will put out there, and he just got named week 1 starter, but you know that I got a keen eye on that AR-15.
Oh, I love him.
He is,
Yeah.
Okay.
dude, he's weighing in at like 260. Dude, this guy is
Love him.
exactly.
You
Get
just
it?
can't root for Jim Irsay.
I know,
Yeah,
I know,
Fair enough.
I know.
Every owner sucks, so whatever.
Yeah,
Also
exactly.
Like,
As
so
my guy
whatever.
Jed
You know,
York's
it's a
like
wash.
getting Jed York's getting investigated for like
Yeah.
some type of scheming. I don't know.
Yeah,
Stay
so-
scheming, right? I don't know. Some fraud type shit. It's like, yeah,
They're all
that tracks.
fraudsters. They're all fraudsters.
Webby, I know
Oh.
there's no comp to Cam, but doesn't this remind you of Cam? Like he's
I
like
mean,
this version of Cam.
There's the only comp is the size.
Yeah.
Because the production, again, the production of Cam in that Auburn season is the second best college season anybody's ever had.
With no
behind
what's first?
behind Barry Sanders in
Okay.
88.
Okay.
Okay, but Cam had 50 touchdowns that year. And 30 of them, 25 of them were rushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy was his yards per carry, his rush attempts blows anything Anthony Richardson did last year out of the water.
Yeah, Cam was just
the comp's got to stop
sport.
at they're both big black guys. That's the comp.
Well, it's just
but that's the NFL,
right? And I just I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, that just reminds me of this generation.
When he ran over that guy, he ran over somebody in that first preseason game, and I was like, how far up do I how much of my fantasy auction dollars am I siphoning off for Anthony Richardson?
Oh, dude, I'm in. I'm in. He's this year's late round QB that's just going to be just sick, especially now that he's starting week 1. That's awesome. He can just rush for 60 yards a game and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
You'll be totally fine.
So, no, go on, Tones. I know you got more. I know you got more preseason insight for us here.
Well, anything else? Jump out preseason.
Limited watching because
yes, you have a child
busy at home, but I don't know. I'm excited. I mean, does this Dalvin Cook Zeke stuff get you guys going in any way?
Bryce Hall off the pup list as well.
The interesting thing to me is Zeke in New England is just an interesting just flex period that New England's just sitting around. They're like, okay, cool. We can come up with Zeke. And because we trust so much of what Bill Belichick and the Patriots have done, we trust their pedigree, that they're somehow going to figure out how to maximize whatever Zeke has left in the tank at this point. It's just going to be fun. I don't know. I'm the NFL. Man, the NFL is just the best, and seeing Dalvin Cook and seeing these guys sign so late, it's so interesting because the season is here, right? Yeah. And I always wonder what these guys are doing when they're not signed. Of course you're working out, but it can't be the same kind of reps that you should be getting in training.
Well,
camp.
I would imagine there's a lot of travel. You've got to go to Indianapolis and meet these guys. You got to go to New York and meet these guys. And then you're staying for a couple of days at the facility to get an idea. And then you're on a plane again. So honestly, I'm not sure. I'm sure they have, time set to work out, but they're not. I don't think they're just gym ratting it.
I think for running backs too, it's so much easier for them to just get dropped into a situation and go. Really, their playbook is half of the playbook, and outside of protections, that's it. But that's just terminology that they can just figure out. I'm sure they did the visits 2 weeks ago, right? We're gonna see it on Hard Knocks this week, probably, where Dalvin Cook's visit. I'm sure they handed him the playbook, said, "Hey, study up. We got it. We got this deal in writing, and we'll just make it official in a couple weeks. You go, stay healthy, keep working out. Don't worry about the pads right now. We'll figure it out." So I'm sure these guys, and they're pros, man. They've been around for 10 years. It's.
You mentioned the playbook. That made me think. Did you guys watch Johnny Football Untold?
Yes,
of course I did.
So good. Did not disappoint. And that was weird, but
of course I did. Yeah. I did the first 5 minutes. It's him lighting a blunt. I was like, all right, we're in good hands, Johnny.
I thought they did a really good job because you mentioned the ending was weird, but I feel like the stage that his life is in right now is weird. And really so it was kind of a realistic take because it didn't try to make him into this someone that we should be feeling sorry for. You kind of get that he screwed himself and he is to blame. And now this is a life that he has, right? I wasn't left with, were you feeling sorry for him after this? Because I was kind of this is just some spoiled brat that had everything right in front of him and then shit it away as soon as it got hard.
I don't know. I think he kind of came out the winner. All Johnny wanted to do was fucking hang out rather than play football. That was pretty much there. And what is he doing at the end? He's drinking a beer with his buddies in a mansion in Scottsdale. I don't know.
I don't know about mansion.
More than a rented house that I have. Okay? He had a pool.
My point is, so does everybody else in Scottsdale.
I didn't feel sorry for Johnny at all. I think he kind of got one over on the NCAA. He got one over on all of us. We all were thinking that
So
his
you don't look at it
family
as
were oil barons when he was taking autograph money the entire time he was famous. I don't think he's dumb. I think he hoodwinked the NCAA out of a bunch of money because they're a corrupt organization, and good on him. And if he doesn't want to play professional football, hey, now he's got the self-realization that I don't have to play professional football. I can live pretty comfortably. I don't have to have all this expectation on me that got me to the point where I wanted to take my own life. He seemed okay. He seemed to,
I don't think he seemed okay.
I don't think he seemed okay either. Like, I was like, that's why I thought I was watching it, and that's why I said the ending was weird, because I'm like, usually stories like this, they're well timed, right? He's got a point to make at the end of like, here's where my life is at, and I'm content. But at the end of it, it was just like, here, I'm just still drinking a beer, hanging out, playing darts with my buddies. Like, there's no like redemption situation. It's like, what is his next? And like the end of it, he was like, yeah, I don't know what my next step is. But I'm like, are you happy? Like, are you okay, man? Like, I don't know.
Maybe it's to drink beer and play darts with his buddies.
Dad.
Maybe it's just to play darts with it. Like, and he said that he had a relationship now with his family that he hadn't had in a couple of years.
But that's out of necessity. That's because he hit like rock bottom and needed some level of support from someone, because again, he crapped away everything. And it is, if there is a part of where I feel sorry for him a bit, it's because you could tell so many of the people around him were just there to take, and not enough people there to help him. And one thing I found that was really interesting when they cut back to Cliff Kingsbury and even his dad, like no one took accountability for trying to actually help this teenager trying to figure out their life while being like one of the most famous athletes in North America at the time, right? Everyone was fine. Like Kingsbury's telling you the stories where he's looking at him, seeing that he's hungover and just being like, yo, dude, you better play well on the weekend. Not trying to help him, be like, you know what you probably shouldn't be doing is going out and getting bombed while we have a big game. And they kind of just, right? And they kind of glossed over that terrible sophomore season that A&M had, right? With all those expectations coming off the Heisman season. And they have a terrible season, probably because Johnny Football's just partying even more than he was the year before with the bigger spotlight. And he's already tumbling then. And now you have the agent, you have his dad, and you have Kingsbury, and I'm sure probably what was their coach's name? Sumlin. They're all the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other, blaming each other for why didn't anyone try to help? And when his dad's like, well, we send him to these schools so that, you can get helped and guided by these people. And instead, like, they're only interested in football. And it's like, hold on, you're blaming the school more than what you did as the parent to try to help your own kid who's spiraling out of control and like has an illegal autograph business on the side. And you're obviously complicit in lying about your family being from oil money. So you played a huge role in not holding them accountable either. And it's just like, that part made me so sick, and it made me like this spoiled brat narrative of it all. And when you think of, you mentioned Cam Newton earlier and the way that Cam Newton was discussed for all the things that Cam Newton went through and his dad taking money and all that shit, as opposed to the way that we look at Johnny Football, even in this doc that's making fun of him for the most part, but we're still like, oh yeah, he's cool and he was awesome and Money Manziel and all this crap. And it's like, why do we view those things? I mean, I know why we view those things differently.
I don't. If you're getting one
it's
over on
America,
the
that's why. And everything's black and white. And we're going to look at Johnny Manziel as being cool because he's all up in the Drake video. Imagine if Cam Newton was doing that stuff.
Yeah.
If you're getting one over on the NCAA, you're good in my book. So
for sure. But I'm not even talking
Manziel
about that
and
side
Cam, good.
I'm not talking about that side of it, Webby. I'm talking about the pictures leaking of you just hammered every single night leading up to games, and then your team bombing in your sophomore year after you win the Heisman Trophy, and then you basically have to work out to make it into the NFL draft. You scam your way through the workouts, still get drafted in the first round, and become an absolute bust. And he got ripped for it. But again, imagine if Cam Newton did all that and all the scrutiny that Cam Newton was under, right? For what Cam Newton didn't do except ball out. And then the way that we view him versus Johnny Manziel. It was just a very interesting like comparison. And you guys made me think about it as you were just talking about Cam and how he was in college.
I'll take it a step. I'll take it a step further. Like Reggie Bush had his Heisman taken away. Yeah. Manziel and his buddy are admitting in this doc, look what we did. We're going to actually walk you through it, and we're bragging about it. Like Big Short, remember that scene? They're not confessing, they're bragging. Like and like Johnny's just no punishment, no nothing. It's all good. He served his half a game bullshit, and that's it. Like, it's crazy to me.
I also don't rep him because he turned on his boy Uncle Nate. Clearly that guy did a lot for him.
That's tough.
And he just turned on him.
Well, that guy was smart enough to know that he needed to get out. Uncle Nate, I thought Uncle Nate came off really well. The sad thing about the whole documentary is that they haven't talked since, because this guy was loyal down to knowing that he needed to get out for Johnny's sake. Because like he was saying, like, I'm just a guy, and now my friend is about to hit the big time, and as smart and business savvy as I think I am, I know that I'm going to fuck this up. Now,
well, also, if there's anyone that knows
fuck them up,
if there's anyone that knows where the bodies are buried, it's Uncle Nate, right? Like he knows he gave up some game for sure, but clearly there's a lot more that if he wanted out there, if he really wanted to sewer Johnny, he really could have.
He's too loyal.
The agent's a scumbag. Cliff Kingsbury's a scumbag. His dad's a scumbag.
Yeah.
Like you could just tell all these people were just using him and were fine for the party. And then
the AD of A&M was a scumbag. Yep. Yeah.
But what did we segued onto this because we were talking about playbook. How crazy was it when they're talking about my guys trying to play NFL football games as a quarterback and didn't read the playbook, didn't watch film?
If ever we wonder why guys don't work out, and like, oh, he's got so much talent, I can't believe that. Like, watch this doc. Some guys just don't love it. Some guys just don't want it. So that's it. It's just point blank. Period. Like that's.
And I don't think. But here's my thing: is that I don't think that we should fault the guy for that. If he doesn't want it,
no. But he's not the first one. Like I always go back to one of the best docs. I don't remember if it was an NFL football. Oh, do you know what? I think it was a Football Life on the Rose Bowl, the USC versus Texas Rose Bowl. And it's mostly centered around Vince Young and Matt Leinart. And so the parallels are talking about like leading up to that game, but it also goes in depth into their NFL careers and how both of their NFL careers were basically like, not that they flopped, but they weren't as good as they should have been when you compare it to the success they had in college. And both Vince Young and Matt Leinart, they talk about how, I never really studied. I never studied game tape.
Yeah.
Never really watched film. And these guys were same thing as Johnny Football. We're able to get away with it in college, right? We're extremely dominant, especially in Vince Young. Like, look at what Johnny Football is doing on the field with his legs. Vince Young was just a whole complete
who do you compare yourself to? And he was like, Vince Young.
Right. Yeah. And so those guys, you're so able to, I mean, and obviously Matt Leinart with all the skilled positions that he had around him at USC, there's not much that you really got to be studying. Right. And then you get to the NFL and you think that you can just do the same thing. And there's a reality check. And that's why we see so many guys fail from college to the NFL. So yes, Manziel definitely is not the first guy to be a really good quarterback, not really study and make it to the NFL and try to figure it out. But I think the self-sabotage part of it in terms of, you needing to just stay sober and not party for like a week leading up to the combine or the NFL draft, and you can't even do that. That's when someone around him has to be like, this guy has a problem. We need to do something here to help this guy because he clearly needs to drink. He needs to party. And that, to me, was the saddest part. Because you have all these people around him that weren't really there for his best interests, just their best interests.
Yep.
So
overall, though, good doc.
Not feeling sad for him to feeling sad for him.
It was weird because he played a huge role in it. He played a massive role in it, right? And then the other reason I don't feel sorry for him, because in this doc, they glossed over the domestic issues he had with his girlfriend or wife. They really glossed over it.
Yeah.
And it looked like a reshoot. because that confessional was clearly different from the rest of the movie. So you could tell they kind of filmed it, and then someone was like,
Oh,
hold on, so we're not going to mention this at all? We got to mention this. All right, we'll go back and shoot something with Johnny again and ask him about it. But overall, I mean, a solid doc because it took you back to a moment in time.
I'm waiting for the next one.
What's the next one?
Is that the Florida one?
The next one's about the
yes.
University of Florida.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
Jack-
You want to talk about Cam? Cam might
Yeah.
make an appearance in that one.
Yeah, that's going to be
Yeah,
interesting.
for sure. He definitely will.
Somebody's laptop.
I'm also excited. This is an HBO one, BS High, the Bishop Sycamore story.
I
I'm
yes.
excited
saw
for that
the
one, too.
It's
preview for
HBO.
that.
HBO, I
Have
think.
you seen
Yeah.
the trailer for that?
Yeah.
It's the fucking
that
coach the
coach
whole
looks
time, and I'm like,
nuts.
yes. This
Yo,
guy's
send
like
a reminder in the
unapologetic.
text. Send a reminder in the text to remind when that comes out because we definitely got to talk about that because that's one of the
100%.
funniest recent football
So
stories
funny.
there is. Them just making up a fake high school.
And this coach is like, so it's exactly what I was hoping he would be like just unapologetic, like,
Yeah.
I did
Nuts.
nothing wrong. You guys fell for it. Like, and I'm like, yes, own it. Like, I love that. Great.
Bishop Sycamore. And what a great name, too. Right?
Oh,
Like, it
it's so
sounds
good.
legit.
Sounds legit.
It sounds so legit. Oh, good
I
stuff.
can't wait for that. I love doc season. And of course, because until football season starts, we're getting all these great football docs on top of Hard Knocks. Just what a time. What a time. But switching from football on television or football television shows to a basketball television show, I put in the chat to ask if we were watching Winning Time because season 2 started.
Okay.
And I know Webby was upset with season 1. And I did fact check you. On your displeasure with what happened in the end of season 1 of Winning Time. Kareem did not win MVP that year. Magic won MVP that year. But the thing that was different was because in the show, they made it seem like David Stern was the one that pushed for Magic to win because David Stern understood the plot of like, we need Magic to be like the next star and he's this young guy and this is bigger for the game going forward. I think what they said really happened was it was CBS, the network, that said, no, it's way better TV for us to have Magic winning the trophy being there instead of it being a Kareem who's not even there.
Well, I did not finish season 1. So anything that I may say.
Come on.
Hold on. So did you watch? So you haven't watched season 2
No, but
yet,
I'm
then?
going to hop in on season 2.
Okay. Well,
Where are
season
we
2.
picking up season 2?
So season 2, they're just 2 episodes in right now.
Okay.
And I mean, there's no such thing as a spoiler because we
It
know
happens.
what happens, like it happened in real life. But basically, it looks like season 2 starts with the 84 finals in game 1, them winning game 1 in Boston. And then it kind of jumps backwards to right where season 1 ended off after they won that championship.
Okay.
Right. So it's then Magic, and then Magic, has his kid, has his first child, how he deals with that with his family. And they want him to, like, his business associates want him to basically get the mother to sign away the rights that Magic just basically pays for the baby, but it has nothing to do with it so that it doesn't get out. And his family obviously has different thoughts about that and also deals with his injury, the big injury he suffered, and just a team dynamic and drama. But really what's coming up is the beef between Pat Riley and what's the coach's name? Why am I drawing a blank here?
Jerry
The
West.
guru of Go, Paul Westhead.
Paul
Westhead. That's basically what's coming up now. There's just drama building between Pat Riley and Westhead and Magic and all the players behind the scenes. I think this show is still funny, but you have to be able to like dispel some reality, right? And understand what you're getting into, that everything is embellished, everything is for comedy.
Yeah.
And they're going over the top with it. But I like it. I like it. Tones?
It's a very entertaining show. Like, I'm not watching this for a historical, accurate, like, there's going to be docs on that shit. There probably already are.
There are. Yeah,
like, exactly. I'll watch it because I like John C. Reilly. I like every other, like, fucking Adrian Brody's in this thing. Like, it's a great cast. And it's just fun. I love the energy. I love the editing. I love, like, all of it. Like, it's just an entertaining show. I just enjoy it. The actor that plays Magic is awesome.
Agreed.
That guy is such a, like, his energy on screen really comes through, and I really like him a lot. Buying stock.
Yeah, and you mentioned Adrian Brody. Adrian Brody is so good, and I think that for me, Adrian Brody's performance as Pat Riley, like I don't feel like I'm watching Adrian Brody,
Nah.
which is like a great testament to the job that he's doing. But Quincy Isaiah is the actor that plays Magic.
Is
He
this
is
the
so
first
good
thing
as
he's
well.
been in? Is this like his first role?
I'm pretty sure.
Because
I
you're
remember
right, he
reading
like
that.
pops off the screen, man.
I think it's
He's
like I watched like these like Hollywood Reporter. They're good like background noise, like these like roundtable actors, directors, writers, etc. It's actually like really interesting. He was on one of them last year when the show started, and he was like some famous guy was telling you, he's like, I bumped into him, and he's like, he was also on an HBO show, and he like said to him, like, young man, like just mentally prepare yourself, take care of your brain because your life's about to change once this show starts. So I think this was his like big break.
Yeah. It's super cool, man. It's just such an interesting show, and like the way that they shoot it stylistically is really good. The pacing of it, the quick cuts, just the comedic value that they add with like Magic talking to like the imaginary lipstick on his cast. Like there's just so many just funny little scenes within it. And to me, I think they add in enough real aspects to it. Like it shows them getting eliminated in the first round. I want to say it's the 81 first round of the playoffs to the Rockets, and Magic shoots an air ball. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if that really happened. And boom, someone puts it up on YouTube. Here's the final play of the 81 first round against the Rockets. They lose in game 3. Magic shoots an air ball and misses. And obviously there's creative license taken because in the show, they're hyping up the narrative of the Pat Riley, Paul Westhead beef, because Westhead's like, hey, this is the play. Look for Kareem. If Kareem's not open, do this. If that person's not open, find Norm Nixon in the corner. And then Riley comes up to him right before they check in the ball. And he's like, you're the guy. Right. So obviously that part didn't happen. They're emphasizing all that, but they're doing that for the sake of the show, right? And it's not for like us who would know what exactly happened or care what exactly happened. But I'm here for John C. Reilly, who's so good. Him and Chiklis, who plays Red Auerbach, and they're going back and forth after the draft. And Red's just like, hey, we got you. We just got McHale and Parrish, blah, blah, blah. And John C. Reilly's so good as Jerry Buss. And he's just like snapping right back at him and chirping. And then Chiklis walks away and he sits down and he turns to his GM and he's like, what's he talking about? Did they really just kill us at the draft? Right? Because he has no idea. Jerry is just such a great job. Yeah. Webby, I hope you're watching, man. I hope
I'm going to start. I'm going to be in on season 2.
Okay. In on season 2. I want to ask you, I know your daughter's too young, but still it picks up into this Taylor Swift stuff because they finally announced her tour.
Mom's already got her indoctrinated.
I'm fascinated by the obsession of Taylor Swift. And what is it, 6 shows they announced in Toronto? Like
and they're all like crazy sold out.
Well, just even the process of it. It's like you got to line up to get tickets online, and then they gave you like then you get waitlisted, and then that was just for the first 3 shows, and then they did the same thing again for the next 3 shows, and then people were bragging because they're like, hey, I got through, I'm on the wait list, and then it's like, no, I still didn't get a ticket. I'm like, is Taylor Swift really that good? I really don't understand it.
I think she's really smart because this is the first artist in a long time, maybe ever, that has been like marketed perfectly for females of any generation. And I don't know what it is, because if I was that smart, I'd be making, those moves as well. But she has got something tapped in with the fair side of the sex that is just like a money making machine. She is packing these stadiums full of women, whether they be young or old, and it's something that not a ton of guys get. I think there are 3 guys right here. I don't get it. I don't get the Taylor Swift.
I just don't get it. What do we want?
She's got a couple of good songs. She works with really talented musicians and producers and songwriters that craft these perfect songs. So of course some of them are going to sound pretty good, but like some people don't get hip hop. Shelly, some people don't get 80s hair metal. I don't get Taylor Swift.
I
We'll
just
get
think
it.
like you think about like what people are going to talk about from our time of living and our peak time of living in like 40 years, right? Like, oh, like everyone 40 years ago, it was fucking like Michael
Elvis.
Jackson. It was like, all like,
Yeah.
and you're going,
The
okay. And you listen
Beatles.
back and you're like, oh, cool. I get it. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. This was awesome, right? People are going to look back and think like, wow, Taylor Swift was like the artist of our generation. I could probably list 40 better artists. And that's not a knock on Taylor Swift. She's great, but like, why is Beyonce not at this level? Like, why is like,
think
why
she
is it
is.
her?
I think she is maybe
But, like, not like this, Webby. Like, it's like the
On
world
par.
shuts down because she like is going to a city. Like the whole fucking world just stops. Like,
Yeah.
it's just that's nuts to me.
Like Beyonce is on tour right now, so we can
Right
compare the way that we're talking about Beyonce or
Yeah.
Drake and Taylor Swift, who probably would be 3 of the top artists of like this era. Maybe add Adele. Is Adele still count? Probably, right? But
She
like,
should.
yeah, but it's just so funny. My thing is the reaction to like all of this Taylor Swift stuff, and it was headline news that she's actually coming to Toronto, and because people were petitioning the prime minister to like reach out and ask why she wasn't coming to Canada, and it's like, we do understand that obviously she was going to come to Canada, right? Like, of course she was always going to come to Canada. It's just what's the need of announcing it up front when no matter what, the demand is going to be there for 6 shows at the Rogers Center, which holds what for a concert like that? 60,000? Something like that? You don't like, that's insane.
It's insane.
So
man.
I don't
And
know.
people are dropping like $1,500. Like, it's like, what?
I saw headlines
I can't
of
even
like,
imagine that. Like, she's not a dancer. She's just
Yeah.
singing there, like doing her fucking like linebacker shuffle. Like, I
Tim.
don't know. Like, what kind of show is it? And listen, I've never been to a Taylor Swift show, so I don't know. And if I went, I'm sure I wouldn't appreciate it. But like, I just don't fully understand it. Like, Timmy's got to chime in here. You're the
Did you get
Swiftie here.
tickets? Did you get tickets?
No.
try to get
Waitlist.
tickets.
Dude,
Waitlist.
it's worse than like Sneakers app, man. It was like impossible.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. The entire world is trying to get into these like last 6 shows. So it's like,
I'm making
for
a
her.
prediction too. This is not the last 6 shows. I guarantee you that she goes to Vancouver after.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you
Vancouver
think she's
can't
gonna tour
handle
for
it.
like 3 years?
No, but like she just announced
should.
like
She'd
6
make a bunch
dates.
of money.
So just like a month later, you're like, I'm gonna go to Vancouver and do like 3 more shows. Why not?
Because after
She's
Toronto,
making-
that's like 2 years straight of touring. I don't think she's gonna tour after that. I think that's
She's
the
been
right-
on tour for 2 years. This Eras tour has lasted that long.
Dude, the Toronto shows are next year, next November.
Wait a second. I thought it was this November.
It's next November.
Hold on, for real. Hold on a
Wait.
second. That's
I
not
What?
also
true.
thought
Wait,
it was this
wait,
November.
That's
wait.
not true.
I thought
It's
That's
next
not
November.
this
that can't
November?
be true. No, it's not.
No,
It's not this November.
no.
No, you're making this up. There's
I
no way
swear.
that's true. How's that possible?
I'll look it
so.
up.
What
People
she
are that thirsty that they're hold on. No.
Holy
Well,
shit.
but why would they
man.
need to go on sale now?
Because they need to get the money now.
Wow.
so what she
They want
gonna
to
do?
lock up
So
that money now
when is her tour over?
in Toronto, 2024.
Oh,
So
it's the
she's
finale.
gonna keep touring until next November.
Yeah, she's
That's
like in
fucked.
Europe before that too. That
That's
summer.
fucked up. That's
Oh,
crazy.
I did not realize that at all. That
Me
this was for
neither.
that makes this even more insane. This makes this even more insane and more crazy. And I see the headline: Taylor Swift tickets scam cost mom $1,600. How do you not think, right? With all of this news that's going on, if you see what you think is a deal, which I mean, $1,600 isn't a deal, but like, how are you getting scammed for Taylor Swift tickets? Right? Like,
People are
I
desperate.
just,
It's
it's like, oh my
so
God, I
crazy,
see some
dude.
Taylor Swift tickets on Kijiji. Let me
Yeah,
send
there's
you.
your first. There's your first big red flag.
Facebook Marketplace, please take my money. Like, what is going on here? I just don't get it. I don't
I don't
want to
get
come
it.
off as a hater. I just don't understand it.
Not
Okay,
for
so-
you, man.
so
Not
what's the
for
most-
you.
What's the most you'd spend on a concert, and who would it be? Obviously, Sheldon. It would be Jay-Z. How much would you pay to go see Jay-Z?
See, it depends, right? Because at this stage, it's a little different, right? Like, I know I'm not getting like A++J, but I'd still go like anytime Jay's in town.
Say it's peak Jay-Z.
No.
Like you
I wanna
can't
know
get tickets.
now.
No, so do you know what it is? Like I have this biggest regret because two of my friends drove to New York to go to Yankee Stadium for the Jay-Z Eminem show, and it's one of my biggest regrets
That you didn't go.
that I didn't go. Like that's one of my biggest regrets ever.
Mine was I had the opportunity to go to that Jay-Z, DMX, Method Man, and Redman show when I was in like 10th
Hard Knock
grade,
Life tour, right?
and
Yeah.
I didn't go.
Mine was the Watch the Throne. My buddy was like, $600, let's go. And I was like, $600. I was in high school. I was like, I don't have $600.
Did you go to that, Timmy? I didn't go to that.
I went to that.
But see, that had an energy,
that's
right?
one
That
of the
had
best
like a
shows I've ever
vibe.
been
I don't
to.
know. That had some hype. Like,
How
That
many
was my
times
big
did they
regret.
do Watch the Throne? How many
They did
times
Paris.
Did they do Paris?
They did Paris. I want to say 6 times.
Not enough times.
I think it was
enough.
6.
Not
I think it was 6.
Dude, I was so
Um,
pissed because like Vancouver got it like double digits, and then it
Yeah.
came to Toronto and it was like
That's
5
awesome.
times, and I was
Yeah.
like, "That's it, 5 times."
There's still a
That's so
dope
funny.
video that lives on YouTube. If you type in Watch the Throne Montreal, it's like super HD quality. And this is
Yeah.
like, I mean, go back to when that was, right? That's like
Mhm.
2008 or 9 or something like that. Like it's
Was
a
it
long time
that
ago.
Long ago? No,
I think so.
I was in high school. Yeah.
Yeah, Watch the Throne's a long time ago, bro.
We're
Isn't
so
that
But, like,
old.
There's
That's
like
More
a
than
so
10
long
years
ago.
ago.
There's a
That's so
super
long
HD
ago.
quality version of them performing in Montreal, and I think they did it like 8 times or whatever, Montreal. But it's just
Yeah.
the best video ever. People are throwing like spliffs on stage. Jay's picking it up and like lighting it. He's like telling the ushers. He's getting mad at the ushers. He's like, "Yo, let people into the aisles. Let them jam. This is why we're here." And it's just
Yeah.
like, ugh.
The Eras
There's no
tour
way a
is-
Taylor Swift show is like that. There's no
the
fucking
Taylor
way.
Swift show is probably 10 times crazier than Watch the Throne, probably.
Yo, there's a video I just saw. I mean, there's a ton of them online, so
are
you
you
can't
talking
even
about the
find it right now. But the one girl that's
5
just like screaming. She's like,
That-
"Ah."
oh,
There's like
God.
5 chicks in a row, and they're all going nuts.
I
I don't get
Stresses
it.
me
that's
out,
just
man.
scary, man.
It's terrifying. I'm like, this
Right.
Taylor Swift's the greatest cult leader in the history of the world. Like,
That's
like,
a fact.
like straight up. Like, I just don't like what magic spell that's listening to her songs in some specific sequence trigger your brain into being like, whatever she does, I'm in. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I still can't.
I
believe
hate that I come across
Toronto
being a
show.
hater. I'm not a hater. Go get your money, Taylor.
You know what we
She's
should
obviously
do?
very
Maybe we'll get
talented.
like
All good,
should-
but like,
we-
fuck. Wow.
we should get like Micho on to talk about it. I'm pretty sure Micho is trying to get
We need
tickets to Taylor. I need the female perspective
Me too.
to break it down to me. What is
Why?
it about Taylor? Like, is it about her ability to hit different genres of music, and
Is
she
it
can
the
hit you with different
lyrics?
vibes and shit?
Is it the story behind? Because the stories behind some of these songs are pretty compelling. Like,
Mhm.
oh, this one's about Jake Gyllenhaal. It's like, fuck, all right. Like, this one's about Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. It's, like, is that what? Like the, I don't know.
Just hits. Every album hits.
Really?
But so
Yes.
does a million other people. I don't
It's
understand.
true.
Actual hits.
Actual hits. Like, I should remind you guys to go check out Steven. I got this message sent to me a bunch of times. We can't play it because obviously we don't own the rights. But there's a Steven Seagal like reggae track
Oh,
that I had like
yeah,
3
yeah,
people
yeah,
send
yeah.
me links
It's
to.
so good.
And I'm just like, what is happening right now?
What
Why
are
is
like
Steven
the
Seagal
first
singing
lyrics?
reggae?
It's like Ponda.
He's-
don't
No,
know.
he says something about me Wanda Punani or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, what is happening right now? But I do want to close. I got one crazy random story. Oh no, hold on. Timmy, we got to bring you back, man.
What's up?
We got to you got to announce your podium for the
Oh, podium
pod,
game for
man.
today. Yeah, Shell, you get podium game today. I liked when you called out Webby for being shook about the.
I'm down bad.
You just
I'm down real bad.
I honestly have never heard the amount of hours of pods that I've had with Andrew Webster, and I've never heard that.
The team has just sucked his soul from his body, and he doesn't
Truly.
even know what to do. He doesn't even have any takes.
I don't.
Like zero
My takes are is that the Sixers are bad. That's my take. The Sixers are bad.
Yeah, so
Okay.
There's a lot of
no.
other bad teams. Raptors are probably bad. Like
Mhm.
I'm going to be happy that the Raptors are bad too. But you
Yeah.
know who's going to be worse? The Sixers are going to be
Yeah.
worse.
So
Even if
Shell,
we
you
make
have
the
the
playoffs,
floor.
we're going to be worse.
Podium game
Okay.
for you. Congrats.
So
Congrats.
well, thank you. So last weekend, city of Toronto is on a wave because there's a little thing called Caravana. I'm going to emphasize Caravana because I heard too many American pods when discussing the Grady Dick pictures of him at Caravana, mispronounced Caravana. I heard a Caravana. I heard a Caribana. I was just like, come on, guys, what are we doing here? It's not that difficult to figure that out. But anyways, so my birthday is normally in and around Caravana weekend each and every year. This past weekend was celebrated my 40th birthday, and it led to a very fun weekend, we'll say. Started out at a little party called Soca or Die on the Thursday at Cabana Pool Bar, which is like a huge, massive, like outdoor patio in on like the lakefront of Toronto. Side note, bumped into Javon and Trizzy at Soca or
I was
Die, and
going to
they're
say
both
Dunlop. Did you bump into Dunlop?
bumped into
No.
him on Sunday.
Guys, okay.
Me and Dunlop went to a party on Sunday, Caravana weekend. Our guy Edson's party.
Eddie.
Dope party, by the way.
Oh, Eddie
Again,
throws great parties.
I had a weekend. I haven't had a weekend like that of Caravana in a very long time.
Mhm.
And my old ass is still recovering now a week later. Can't even lie to you guys. But I brought up Cabana just because I know you guys would appreciate me bumping into Javon and Trizzy and then being like, Shelly, you're at Soca or Die? They're like, whoa, what's going on? We had a good laugh. We dapped it up. Good times had by all. But I want to talk about the parade because Toronto is the greatest city in the world, and Caravana is just one of those great times where the whole city's on a wave. It's just a great time had by all. It's a great experience, and unless you've been to the parade, you can't really understand the vibes or just how many people are actually there. Like, there's so much drone footage that gets wasted. I need the drone shots showing me how many people are actually at the parade on the lakeshore because it's an absolute great vibe. But the reason why Toronto is the best city in the world is because while this parade is going on, all of a sudden it's about, like 6:30, 7 o'clock. The parade's supposed to be dying down, but there's still trucks on the road. People are still jamming. People are still having a good time. But all of a sudden I start seeing like different waves of people. And Toronto is a very multicultural city. So like seeing the odd, seeing like groups of white people isn't a weird thing. But I was seeing like waves of white people. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like all of a sudden. And it was just at this certain time. So I'm just like, something is really strange here. But at the same time, jams going on. And you can tell the people who are from Toronto, who like are from Toronto, so they know the vibes. Like they're walking through Caravana, but they're having the vibes. They're jamming. And then you see the other people that are like, what the hell is going on here? And they're trying to like sprint through because they're on their way to Budweiser because there's a concert there. Some dude named Rufus something. I'm sure someone else knows on this pod. Some DJ named Rufus something. I'm going to sound like the old guy here, but I'm okay with that. Yes. Thank you, Tones.
Wainwright?
Thank you, Tones. So this is my story. I end up on Lakeshore and there's like a huge reggae truck going by. People are jamming, jumping up. The vibes are high. Reggae truck passes. Here comes another truck. People are still jamming. It's like 7 o'clock. It's supposed to end at 6. Party's still high. Vibes are still high. People are jamming. All of a sudden in front of me, there's like 3 white women that pass me. And then there's like 4 dudes behind them. And they're just like walking through really quickly, but like past this truck and the jam is vibing. And I kind of like move away because there's like a huge crowd coming through. And as I look, this dude walks by me and I say out loud because I'm so stunned. I'm like, Max Domi? And the girl turns around and she looks at me because she's like, she can see this, like she can hear it in my voice, but actually the stunned look on my face. And I'm trying to piece together, what the hell is going on right now? And they walk by. And then at that point was when I messaged Niche because Niche knows what all the kids are into all the time. So I'm like, yo, Niche, what is going on at Budweiser stage right now? And he's like, oh, there's a Rufus, what'd you just say? De La Soul Is that his name? Did I just make that up?
I think it's Rufus the Soul.
Rufus the Soul concert going on. And I'm like, oh, that's got to be where Max Domi
Hockey
is
players
going.
love that shit.
Right? Because I'm like, there's no way my guy is just jumping up, jumping, waving with Grady Dick.
Jump and wave. No.
But just picture me.
He does not have a
jamming
bracelet
out,
on.
Jamming out, jumping up, let people go by. I'm like, Max Domi, what is going on here? But that's the beauty of Toronto, because the vibe of turning up Strawn, and I'm like leaving the parade, it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock. And as I'm walking up Strawn past the Princess Gates, there's a waves of people still coming down Strawn, going to Amphitheater, and you have this cross section of what Toronto is.
Yeah.
And it's just such an epic just wave and a vibe. And like there's this group coming down, and they stop by the Princess Gates because there's so much, like there's so many people there. There's these big costumes. And this one dude's like, yo, man, can you take a picture of my crew for me in front of the Princess Gates? And there's costumes all behind them. I'm like, yeah, man, no problem. Like that just made me love the city of Toronto, because it's the epitome of what it can be. Just beautiful vibes, a great time had by all. Just a jam.
Weekend.
The weather was
Max
dope.
Look? Is Max going to score 30? How do you look? Do you look like he's
playing
gonna score
shape
30 this year?
Yeah, listen, man. The waves are high. Did you not see all the wedding footage? The Leafs waves are high this summer, man.
Yeah, the
Max
vibes
was
are
at
big.
Carabana.
As long as you're on
Austin
the team.
and Mitch were hype at Mitch's wedding. The vibes are high right now in the city, Tones. I don't know. You might want to get on board right now because it's hot up in the
30
6th
goals.
of the summer. We're just going to continue that.
To Max Domi, 30
I'm
goals.
just trying not to get puked on a every 2 hour basis. All right.
Tyler Bertuzzi is gonna ruin the city of Ottawa. They're gonna call it Bertuzzi Town.
Tyler Bertuzzi is the reaction to us. Okay, he's the answer.
He's gonna be elected mayor.
No.
Of
We've
Ottawa.
been here. We've been here. Okay, we got the pests. You don't have the pests anymore. We got.
Listen, Brady at Carabana. Brady wasn't getting hyped to the vibes of Carabana because Brady's whack. Brady
was probably watching his brother play hockey.
Brady's having the time of his life, shirt off in Ottawa at every country bar, screaming, "We're gonna win the cup."
Sounds like Johnny Manziel.
Love it.
The entire Senators team was probably at Rufus de la Soul or whatever.
It's true. It then made me think, like, you know how many hockey bros I probably walked by just not paying attention to at all? Like, could have just walked right by me, and I'm just like, had no idea at all. And obviously, no one else knows who Max Domi is.
I was going to say, Shelly, I'm really impressed you were able to
guy.
pick. I'm impressed you were able to pick Max Domi out of the crowd.
Very impressed.
Right?
He could walk right by me.
It was literally like, you got to understand though. He literally walked right in front of me, and it's only because like I took a step back because there's like a crowd of people, and then there's like a walkway where people are walking in opposite direction. So once you move back, he literally walked right in front of me, and I kind of did the like, double take, the squint, like, and then audibly it was like, Max, like it was just a weird thing. But hey, Toronto vibes, DVP pod vibes. I like it. Things are high. Tones, get on the bandwagon now, or maybe we can convince the
Leafs,
Toronto
baby.
Wave, bro.
I'm on the Toronto Wave.
Swag
I'm not on
Kelly.
the Toronto Maple Leafs wave. I'm on the Toronto City Wave.
Swag Kelly and the Argos, baby.
I miss Toronto a lot already. I miss it.
Where are you?
We went to Burlington. We're in Burlington. We're way out there. Went back to see the condo. I was back in Liberty Village. We're the scene of the crime here, Shell.
There you go.
And I miss it. I miss that energy. I always loved Carabana weekend in my neighborhood because there was definitely an energy. You see the costumes around. It was very cool. Like, definitely always loved it.
Vibes. Until next week, fellas.
Yeah,
More
boys.
vibes.